Thank you for visiting the Grand Island Public Schools webpage and the bond issue information. My name is Rob Winter. I'm Superintendent of Schools, and I would like to take just a little time and walk you through information about the bond issue and why we think it's important. The Board of Education voted unanimously in May of this year to take an election to the community that comprised work in 7 different issues, or 7 different attendance centers or schools. There are 3 issues that we wanted to focus on. The first issue is the fact that we are a growing community, and that requires an investment in our classroom space. The second issue, we have great teachers, and they need quality classrooms to help kids succeed every day. And the third piece, every student that we have in this school district deserves a safe place to learn. Our motto, every student, every day a success, embodies the 3 points that we've just outlined. The success of our growing community requires an investment in classroom space. Great teachers and quality classrooms help kids succeed every day. And every student deserves a safe place to learn. This is just a quick picture signifying that we are a growing community, but the neat thing about this picture, these are Grand Island kids working through the Career Pathway Institute, doing some work for Habitat and Humanity. Again, just demonstrating the growth in our community. The success of a growing community requires an investment in classroom space. We are a growing community, and we are a growing school district. In 1999, we had an enrollment of 7,057 students. In 2014, 9,242. The number of students and our programs have increased during this 15-year time frame. This is simply a picture of some of our students at Barr Middle School. Barr Middle School is one of the attendance centers, or one of the schools that we have on this list that require some additional space. We talk about great teachers, and we talk about quality classrooms, and that's what the piece is, to make sure that every kid is successful. We want to eliminate the open concept classrooms. The open concept classrooms came about in the 70s, and at the time, those folks felt like they were doing absolutely the right thing. Open concept classrooms provided additional flexibility, and quite honestly, provided the ability to leverage the resources you have. But what we've learned over time is that the doors and walls are important, and we need to be able to have kids have instructional areas that meet their very needs. We want rooms designed for the intended purposes, for their intended purposes. We have classrooms, hallways, and entrances that need to accommodate all of our students, staff, and parents. We have students in our school district that come to us in wheelchairs. We have staff that are in chairs. We have parents. We have students that use walkers. And we need to have space that allows them to move freely in and out of their classrooms and up and down the halls. And finally, Grand Island has a rich history of being as effective and as efficient as they can with tax dollars and the resources that we have. That will continue with this project. I show you this picture just because I think it's worth noting. This is a 3rd grade classroom at at Jefferson Elementary. This is a 3rd grade classroom teacher. And what I want to point at, if you can follow my mouse, I want to point out a couple of things in this classroom that signify why it's important that we address the open concept classroom. First of all, if you'll see the big G right here where my mouse is, that's the girls' restroom. This young man right here is coming out of the boys' restroom, which is right over here on this side. For these children to get to this restroom on this side of the building, they come through this 3rd grade classroom, either this way or as this young man is going out this way. So any student that comes to the restroom on this side of the building at Jefferson moves through this classroom to get to the restroom. On the other side of these glass doors are our modular classrooms, or our learning cottages, as we like to refer to them. During nice weather, those kids move around at the front of the building to come in to either the media center, to the lunchroom, whatever their needs may be. But when weather is inclement, it's raining, it's very, very cold, we will bring entire classrooms in through these doors, past these two restrooms, and then through this classroom to get to their area, whether it be the library or the gym or whatever the case may be. This is not ideal for our kids. So every student deserves a safe place to learn. We want safe drop-offs and pickup areas for our kids. There's been a lot of discussion recent about the drop-off and pickup at one of our attendance centers at Stolly Park, and rightfully so. We need to improve that area. Parents need to be able to pull onto school property to pick up their children, to drop off their children, and we need to make sure the kids are safe. They're not crossing busy streets, walking down side streets with no sidewalks. We want secure entrances. Unfortunately, in this day and age, that is a concern. That's a concern for every school employee across this country. How do we make sure our kids are as safe as we can possibly make them? We want to have a line of sight from our secretary and our principal's office to the front doors so that people entering our buildings will have to pass through there so that we know who is indeed in our buildings. That's important to us. Doors and walls. We want to make sure that our classrooms have doors and walls for two reasons. The first obvious reason is so that we provide a sound barrier so the classes and the kids in the next classroom aren't creating a lot of noise, appropriately so, but creating a lot of noise that's disturbing their neighbors in the next classroom. We also want walls that go all the way to the top so that sound doesn't travel back and forth. We want doors in our classrooms so that as kids use hallways, we can close the doors and make sure that that sound barrier is there and it's more conducive for learning. The other piece to that is what we do know, and unfortunately what we've learned after Columbine and most recently Sandy Hook and others, is that when we have intruders in buildings, our greatest defense is for our staff members to be able to close the door, lock the door, and take kids to a safe place within that classroom. That's important to us, and we want to make sure we get that. Those are not available in our open concept classrooms. These are the 7 buildings that we're talking about addressing. The first one is Shoemaker School. Shoemaker has both open concept classrooms with it as well as the traditional classrooms. We would like to go in, address the open concept piece there, and add classroom space for our growing needs on the west side of 281. We would take Shoemaker School to a 4-unit. And when I say 4-unit, I'm talking about 4 classrooms of grade 1, 4 classrooms of 2, and so on, to help with our crowding west of 281. The second building, this building right here, is Engelman Elementary. And we would do the same with Engelman. We would make it a 4-unit. Again, 4 classrooms of grade 1, 4 classrooms of grade 2, and so on and so forth, to help with our crowding problem west of 281. This building that my mouse is on right now is Jefferson Elementary. We're proposing that we raise that building. In other words, tear that building down and go back in with a new building. 3 units or 3 sections, so 3 grade 1s, 3 grade 2s, and so on and so forth, and eliminate the open concept classroom there. This building would look a lot like our current Wasmer in that we are short on space, so we would make that a 2-story building with our upper grades on the top and then our lower grades on the main floor. Again, we would address the security issues there. This wonderful building is Stolly Park. Stolly Park's original building was built in the late 1890s. It's been a wonderful building, but it's a tired building. It's very difficult for us to be able to do the things that we need to do to meet kids' needs today and retro this building to have the appropriate HVAC, the electrical components, the hallways are tight, and so on and so forth. So we would propose that we raise this building as well. In other words, we would tear this building down and build a new building on the same site, again a 2-story building. Building right here with my mouse is Star. We would propose that we build a new Star Elementary on the corner of Adams Street and Stolly Park Road. Currently, there are beans in that 40 acres right now, but we would take the southernmost 10 acres and build a new elementary there for Star Elementary. This elementary would be a 4-unit elementary, in other words, 4 1s, 4 2s, and so on. It would also have a gymnasium that is comparable to the gymnasiums that we find in our middle schools. Purpose for the additional gymnasium spaces right now at Barr Middle School, we transport our kids to Star Elementary, to Stolly Park Elementary, to Gates Elementary, and out to the field house for after-school activities. We think it makes sense to be able to build a gymnasium in the new Star that would accommodate that, and then kids would walk a short distance to that. There have been a number of questions about why don't you combine the Stolly and Star attendance centers and have one attendance center. And we looked at that. The reason we elected not to do that is that if we did that, we would have an elementary of approximately 550 kids and little flexibility to grow. We're growing at a rate of about 125 to 150 kids a year across the district. And so we wanted to be able to accommodate that growth, and a new Star would allow us to do that. This attendance right here, this attendance center right here, is Barr Middle School. Barr Middle School has 780 kids in that right now, and we're out of room in Barr Middle School. We need to be able to expand the food service or the lunchroom area. We need to be able to meet our needs with our fine arts programs because our kids practice on stages and in lunchrooms. We need to be able to meet the family and consumer science needs and other elective needs. The other thing that we want to do is move the front entryway or the receiving desk with the receptionist or secretary in the principal's office to the front of the building so that when people enter the building they pass in front of those and we have line of sight. And finally, senior high. We were very fortunate to build the Career Pathway Institute, and we're very proud of that facility. But that also created some space at senior high that allows us to go back and repurpose that floor space, possibly into different labs, classrooms. That determination has yet to be made. But we know that we have some space there and that we can use that space. So in summary, real quickly, the projects that we're talking about: build a new Jefferson at the current location, build a new Star on Adams Street, build a new Stolly Park at the current location, expand Engelman, expand and renovate Shoemaker, secondary level, renovate the 100 wing of senior high, renovate and expand Barr Middle School. Quickly, some pictures of each of the attendance centers. This is Jefferson. This is a door. We hang curtains on those doors to provide a visual barrier for kids that are walking by. This is the same classroom. Right under this exit sign where my mouse is are the restrooms, so you can only imagine how sound travels back and forth from the restrooms into this classroom. Again, this is a curtain rod that provides a visual barrier for this. We've used filing cabinets to provide some sort of barriers to enclose the open concept. This picture very quickly is the front door at Jefferson Elementary. When you step in, our offices are around this corner, so there is no line of sight. You step in, you immediately move upstairs to the upper grades, or you can move into the population, the classroom populations here. In the new building, we would have people that would step into the building and then step into the office area and then out into the general population. At Star Elementary, this picture right here used to be one classroom, and we've divided it into two. The interesting thing is, for these children to get into this classroom, they must pass through this classroom. For us to turn the lights down in this classroom, these lights go down as well. This is not where we need to be with our kids. This is another picture at Star Elementary. Follow my mouse and you'll see this is our computer lab. The center part here is the media center, and these two areas, one right here and one right here, serve as hallways that kids move back and forth from classrooms into different parts of the building. You can only imagine then what it's like for our kids here as they're maybe taking the NESA assessments. and what that distraction is like when they have kids moving back and forth. And I must say that our kids at this attendance center do a great job. They're very respectful, very quiet when they move. Nevertheless, kids are moving back and forth. Again, just another picture of a classroom at Star. This is the doorway, this curtain, so that we have a visual barrier. At Stolly Park, I indicated to you that it's a wonderful old building, but we need to update it. This is a typical hallway. You can only imagine us trying to move kids through here that happen to be in chairs or with walkers, or if we have big loads of computer carts or any of those kinds of things as we move back and forth through there. Teachers do a marvelous job of trying to grab as much space as they can to help our students in the district, and this is a perfect example. This is a converted closet or a utility room. We have a desk down here in the corner where a staff member will work individually, one-on-one with students, right under our breaker boxes. This picture shows the music room at Stolly Park Elementary. This is, as you might guess, exactly what it looks like, a garage door. On the other side of this door, it's the lunchroom. It's where we serve our breakfast. It's also where we have physical education classes. This door right here leads to another one of those small areas for one-on-one instruction. But for students to get to this room, they move through the music room during class to be able to enter that classroom. That's simply, we believe, not where we want and what we need for our kids. Shoemaker Elementary, as I said, it too has open concept classrooms. You can see there's a classroom here. We've used a filing cabinet here to provide some visual barrier. We have a classroom here, and this young man in this classroom right here. The interesting thing is, if this staff member wants to turn off his or her lights, these lights go down and these lights go down, or we go to the breaker box and kick individual breakers. Line of sight is important for our staff, and this is the front offices at Shoemaker School. This is the building administrator's office right here. This is the secretary's office. You move into the building here, but there is no line of sight for us when we have folks come and visit us at those schools. We think that's important, and we want to be able to remedy that. Just another picture at Shoemaker School. Again, the doors that the staff members have gotten creative to try and provide a visual barrier. This is a hallway here that used to be a part of the open concept. We've managed to put up temporary walls, if you will, here and here with lockers lining those. But if we turn the lights off in this classroom, and if you can only imagine that there's a classroom back over here, if we turn the lights off in here for a staff member to work, the lights in this hallway go down as well, just as they have down here, as you can see. Engelman Elementary, wonderful facility. We're out of room. We just need more classrooms there. This is simply a picture of our kids in the classroom there at Engelman Elementary. I guess this is their lunchroom, excuse me. Classroom teacher, great things going on in this classroom, but a full classroom. We need more space at Engelman Elementary. This is the things that we're talking about when we talk about entrances. If you can imagine, there is an outside door. You move into this foyer. Our staff, our secretary and building administrator are behind this column, but there's a clear line of sight. So they know who's coming into the building, and they can buzz them in, and so that they know when we have visitors coming to our buildings. Excuse me, Bar Middle School. This is a picture of our food service area. We run 780 kids through there in a short period of time. Just like us all, we have to remember that we can't start serving lunch at 9 o'clock in the morning and finish at 2:30 in the afternoon. We have to have the space to accommodate all of those kids within a finite amount of time. Once lunch is over here, these chairs and tables are picked up and moved to the side, and it becomes a classroom then for some of our elective courses. This is a typical hallway at Bar Middle School. We have a classroom here, and kids move in and around bookshelves and barriers and tables to be able to get to those. You can only imagine when the bell rings, if there are 20 kids coming out of this room and 20 kids coming out of this room, the congestion we have there.
Okay, thanks. See you later.
Front door at Bar Middle School. You can enter this building right here. We do have cameras and we do buzz people in, but our secretary and building administrator are clear around this corner. So there is no line of sight. So we don't know who comes in all the time. They stand in front of the camera, we can see that, but if somebody slides in without that camera, they don't come through us. We want to make sure we move our administrative offices down here in our secretary's office, so when somebody steps into the building, they step into the office, we know who's in the building, and then on out into the general population of the school. Grand Island Senior High, as I indicated to you, with the development of the Career Pathway Institute, we now have space in the 100 wing, what we call the 100 wing, the Industrial Tech Lab. We need to repurpose this space. It's wonderful space. We've moved a lot of this equipment down to the career pathway, but this is good space and we can repurpose this for classroom use. Again, just another picture of some of the space we have at Senior High that we can use, and it helps us with our kids. The cost of this project, the overall cost of the project is $69.9 million. What does that mean? That's an additional $85 annually on a $100,000 home. We have put together some rough site plans, and I emphasize the word rough just to give you an idea on some of our sites, some of the things that we're looking at, to maybe give you a flavor of how we hope to address some of the very things that I've talked about earlier on. This is Barr Middle School. This is the food service area, and we would expand that. Classrooms would be added, this area, 4 classrooms to give us more space. The front offices would be moved up to the front of the building where the entrance is, and then we would add this space in the back for our electives, for our technology piece, and it just provides us with more space. Some additional space here, and in this picture you can see we would rework the industrial tech area, the commons area or the lunchroom area, classrooms here. This signifies the second story of those classrooms. Art, the fine arts, family and consumer science, music would all go in there, and we would get kids off of stages and out of cafeterias and out of closets when it came to meeting these needs. This is a rough picture of Stolly Park Elementary. Standing from the east looking back west, we tried to look at what the entrance looked like today and hopefully try to honor that. But one of the things that we want to do with this attendance center is provide a better way for us to get families so that they can drop kids off, pick kids up, and have that in a safe environment rather than stepping out onto Stolly Park Road or on William Street or Pioneer where there are no sidewalks. So this is a rough drawing. We would be able to bring folks in either this way or back around this way. You can see we've added additional parking to be able to accommodate that, with the hopes that parents would pull off, be able to come in, pull off, be able to come in, pick up their child, and then move back on out onto the streets in a safe manner, so that we didn't have kids walking up and down in streets with no sidewalks or trying to cross this busy street. We have also purchased some additional property, this home right here, that we will create a parking lot for our staff and visitors, not unlike we do at Gates, not unlike we do at Wasmer, to create even more space here in an attempt to meet our needs. Star Elementary, again, we're working hard to try and get kids to where their parents can drop them off and pick them up. This is an entrance and an exit off of Stolly Park, an entrance and an exit off of Adams Street, and if the road is pushed through on Church, it would come there, giving us 3 different areas. There's been some discussion about what's going to happen on Adams Street. I do know that the city has talked about Adams Street, widening Adams Street. I know that discussion took place before we ever elected to move an attendance center there, but that will come hopefully sometime in the future so that this will be widened. Jefferson Elementary, again, remember I said we were going to go up with this attendance center, not unlike the same we do at Stolly Park, but again, with a limited space. This is Broadwell. We are landlocked at this attendance center, so we've looked for ways that we can get folks off of the streets so that kids can be picked up safely, dropped off. Again, doing the same thing here. This would be a 3-unit elementary school, and the site plan would allow for us to meet those needs. We have also purchased this property right here so that we can provide additional parking for staff and visitors and freeing up for our community as well. So the ballot. This is a mail-in ballot. The mail-in ballots, the ballots will go out on the 20th of next month, or this month, excuse me, 20th of this month. So patrons can expect to see them somewhere around the 22nd, 23rd. There's some unique things about this. Somebody said, well, the reason you're using a mail-in ballot is because you didn't want a very good turnout. That's just the opposite. Research tells us that between 18 and 25% of the registered voters vote in a special election if you have a polling place. That number jumps to over 50% with a mail-in ballot. The Board of Education was very serious about trying to get as many people as we could get to be involved with this process. So you need to use a number 2 pencil or a black pen when you receive the ballot. It will come with a self-addressed envelope. You need to place the ballot back in that envelope, seal that envelope, place a stamp on it, and then sign your name across the back. 1 ballot per envelope. If you send 2 or 3 ballots back in one envelope, only the one that has the signature will be counted. The deadline for the ballots that must be received is 5 p.m. on September the 9th. There will be a drop box at the election office, so if someone chooses not to drop it in the mail and would like to go down and drop it off, there is a drop box there. We encourage folks to be informed and vote, and if you're going to run it back through the mail, please don't wait until the 8th of September, because I'm not sure it will get into the election office so that you can have it counted. So again, very quickly, the board unanimously decided after 18 months of research, public input, and town hall meetings, it was crucial that we do each of these projects. The bond issue addresses the 3 main points that I started with in this conversation. The success of a growing community requires an investment in classroom space. Great teachers, and we have great teachers in Grand Island. If we give great teachers quality classrooms, kids succeed. And finally, every student deserves a safe place to learn. Whether it be within a classroom, whether it be on school property, kids deserve a safe place. Thank you. And if you have any questions, I would ask you can go to our website, look at this material. If you have questions, call the district office. We'll be happy to try and answer any or all questions you have.